Good morning, everyone. This is Chris Gray from Due North Stamping, and I am going to give a go at trying the hashtag JJ3Under30, a collaboration hosted by Margreth at Sevenplaza and Toni with Crafty by Toni. I've never done this before. I've tried videotaping in the past and it didn't work out so well, so we'll see how this goes, especially being on a timer. Anyway, I am going to be taking my inspiration and actually pretty much copying from a video that I watched on YouTube by Maggie from Sunset Crafts and More, I think is the name of her channel. I will try to link her channel and possibly even her video in the description box if I can figure it out. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I am going to be making some little coin envelope type things. And then they're going to have a dangle, and it's got a cutout window, and it's going to have a little charm that kind of takes up the window. It's kind of hard to describe. But anyway, that's what I'm going to try to do. And I'm going to try and do 3 of them under 30 minutes. So that should be quite interesting. And I'm going to be using all kinds of supplies. I've got my crocodile. I've got my 2-inch circle punch. I've got some chain, I've got some eyelets, I've got some of my Tim Holtz decoupage papers and some Mod Podge. I've got a tab punch, don't know if I'm going to be using it or not. I've got some jewelry supplies, which I'm also not a jeweler, and we'll see how that works. Getting the eyelets and jump rings and things in. I've got a corner rounder in case I need that. I'm going to be using some of Tim Holtz's photos. Not sure which ones yet. I haven't picked them out, so there again, I should have probably done that beforehand. Maybe the found relatives might be the way to go. I've got those found relatives, so I might be able to use some of those. And I guess you'll see where I'm going with this once I get going. So without further ado, I'm going to set my timer on my watch, if I can figure that out. No, that's not it. Let me see. I bet you're really glad you tuned into this video. Well, maybe I will. Oh, here. Clock? No. All right, I don't know how to do it on my watch, and I don't have another clock in here. So right now it is 9:11, so 30 minutes would be 9:41. So let's get going. First of all, I'm going to be cutting some, or I cut already some cream-colored cardstock to 6.5 by 4.5. I cut 3 pieces, and then I have picked out 3 of the decoupage papers that I'm going to be using. 2 of them are from the archives, and 1 of them is from the Serendipity archives and Serendipity. I don't know if you can see that. So those are 2 that I'm going to be using. Let's get that off my desk. And first off, I'm going to take my foam brush, and I'm going to take some Mod Podge that I watered down with just a little bit of water, and I'm going to be putting that onto my cardstock so that I can attach my decoupage paper. Hopefully this will dry in time for me to continue on with my project. Let's get that on there. Whoops. Already I'm not having so much luck with this. Let's see if we can rip that while we're at it. Well, it's not perfect, but that's how I roll, so we'll see how this goes. Anyway, I don't know if you know me, but I am from northern Wisconsin, and I used to do card making. I used to be a demonstrator for Stampin' Up! And then I kind of got away from card making, and I discovered junk journaling. And the rest is history, so they say. I've watched all kinds of videos on YouTube, and everybody makes everything look so easy, and in reality, sometimes it's not all that easy. So let's just see if we can get the wrinkles out of that. And I admire Toni and Margreth and Maggie from Sunset Crafts. They all do such an amazing job, and it just inspires me to want to do stuff. So that's why I decided to take part in this challenge, stepping outside of my comfort zone, way outside of my comfort zone, to do this. And we will just see how that works out. Hoping that that's right. There we go. All right, I'll put this away before I dump this all over my desk. Not that I've ever done that before. And I usually put my brush in a plastic bag so it doesn't dry out, and then I can use it again without having to use a new one. All right, I'm going to get rid of this. Well, actually, should I do another coat on top? Maybe I should. Maybe I should do another coat of the Mod Podge on top. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get this done in 30 minutes. Just so you know. Do a light coat on top to seal it in. I probably should have done one ahead of time, but that would be cheating. So there's that one. And I picked the decoupage papers that went horizontally because that's the orientation of the pockets. So that's why I picked these three. Two that are more like text oriented and one that's floral. And then I'll be putting these in my stash once I get them done if they turn out decent. Or I will be putting them in the file 13 trash if I don't have such good luck. All right, so that's that. This is going to go back in this bag. That goes off to the side. Now I think I'm going to get my heat gun out and just run that over these momentarily just to dry them off and get rid of this sticky paper. Throw that on the floor. And my heat gun, unfortunately, does not reach my area over here, so I'm going to have to dry this off camera, but you'll hear the heat gun, so you know I'm not cheating. So here we go. And I'm starting the third one. All right, well, I dried them semi. They're not really dry yet, so I don't know how this is going to work out, but we will carry on. So the first thing I'm going to do now is it's going to trim the excess tissue paper off the back of this. Get rid of that. Let's see what we have here. It's a little crooked. There's a big shock. All right. And this one, I hope I'm in frame. I can't really see my camera from where I'm sitting, so we'll see how that works out. This is not a very professional video, and for that I apologize, but it is what it is. So there we go. There we go. Then we are going to score these. That's really damp yet. And I'm going to use my paper trimmer because it's smaller than my scoreboard. And we need to score these on the long side. We score at 1.5, 1.5, and 4.5. And on the short side, we score at 1/2 inch. So let's see, this is, we want the score to be at the bottom of the page, so that's the bottom. So I'm going to score at 1/2 inch on that side from the bottom. So if your paper is directional, make sure you check that, because I can't tell you how many times I've done stuff upside down. All right, so that's scored. Now I'm going to do the next one. 1.5. 4.5. It's a little sticky, so it's hard to maneuver this on my trimmer. 4.5. And at the bottom, 1/2 inch. Straight if possible. Straight would be nice, as Margaret says. Straight would be lovely. And then the final one, 1.5. 4.5. And at the bottom, on this paper, it doesn't really matter, so we'll put it on that end, 1/2 inch. All right. Then I don't know if you can see, there's 3 small rectangles at the bottom. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to, on the middle rectangle, I'm going to trim in up to the fold line and up to the fold line on the other side. And then cutting out the fold line, I'm going to go at an angle and cut that end rectangle off, and the same on the other side, going at an angle, cutting that off. So that makes it look like that. I don't need my scoreboard anymore, or my cutter, so I'll put that off to the side. And then this one, again, the 3 rectangles at the bottom. I'm going to cut in on the middle one and in on the middle one, and then cut out the 2 end ones at an angle to make it easier to fold, and so it lays flatter. There we go. There's that one. And the last one. Again, 3 rectangles, in and in, and then cutting in an angle and taking off the end rectangles. All right, there we go. So then I'm going to fold up the bottom flap, which is still kind of damp, but I'm doing it anyway, so we'll see how this cuts. Fold it up. Oh, actually, which way should I be folding it? I guess it doesn't really matter. Fold it up. I need it folded up so that I can put my punch in there. I don't know if it's going to work with it being damp like that. Let's try it that way. I need to put my punch in there, and I'm lining it up. It's just exactly the right width, so I can just push it as far as I can and line it up with the folds on either side, and then push it in as far as I can and punch. And then that will make my hole for my window. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to fold it the other way so that it's easier to get the punch in, and you can see the score lines, hopefully. Put it in, line it up side to side, and then push it in as far as I can and punch. And there we go. So that one is done. And the same thing with this one. All the way in as far as you can go, even side to side. And if you don't have a 2-inch circle punch, you could use a 2-inch die, or you can just draw a circle and cut it out with the scissors, which I would be terrible at also. Just saying. Get rid of my scraps. And there you have 3 circles that can be used for something else. Then I'm going to put my eyelets in so I don't have to do it when it's all folded up. So I think I'm going to get my crocodile. And I know that this is 3 inches from that fold to that fold. So at 1.5 inches, I'm just going to make a little mark with my pencil so that I know where the center is, so I can put my eyelet kind of in the center. Same thing on this one. 3 inches, so 1.5 inches. And 1.5 inches. There we go. And then I'm going to put a 3/16 inch hole right about there, if I don't, you can see me. Not too far away from the edge, because otherwise it's hard to get an eyelet that will, and a jump ring that will go through there. So again, lining it up and putting that in. And my last one, there we go. All right, got my holes. Then I'm going to get my eyelets. I think I will use that color for that one. I'll probably wind up using the same color for all of them, actually. That eyelet is a little bit large for there, but hey ho. All right, and then we will okay, that eyelet's in. Let's see if I can find this is kind of a pewter colored one. Oops. Put that one there. Get in there. Work with me. That, and the final one. Okay, so the eyelets are in there. And then for the dangle, I'm going to take my 3 pieces and I'm going to punch out some extra plain circles of 2-inch circles. I'm just going to punch out some extra ones to make the dangle a little more sturdy. So that's 2 for that one, 2 for that one, and 2 for that one. And then I'm going to hopefully take my art glitter glue. Hopefully that will, I didn't think to open that up for me today. Oh dear. Well, apparently art does not want to work for me today. Art, as Margaret would say. I haven't used him in a while, so he's being ornery. So let's see what else we can use. Let's try. I have some reptile glue. Let's see if this will work. I should have done this before and I didn't. And now I have nothing that wants to work, so I guess glue stick it is. I will use some glue stick. A piece of scrap paper underneath. Okay. 2 together, try to line them up. the decorative one on top. That's going to be the back of the charm. And there we go. And number 2. And number 3. I'm probably out of frame for all of this, I'm sure. And that's that. Then I'm going to get out my pictures and see who I want to put on there. I could put them. And him. And him. There we go. So I'm just going to cut them out, hopefully with my punch. Hopefully that will work. That. Timmy and Lassie. I guess if you don't know, you don't know. If you do, oh, I should have gone. Make sure you go high enough or put the picture low enough so that you have room for an eyelet at the top. I didn't think of that on the last one. I didn't check, so we'll see how that works out. And then Fred over here. Let's make sure we give him room for an eyelet at the top with his flag. Patriotic Fred. There we go. All right. Then I'm going to glue them to the, let's see, this one goes with that, this one goes with that, and this one goes with that. So we'll glue Timmy and Lassie on this one. And we'll glue Fred on this one. Doesn't really matter if it's upside down. You won't ever see both sides at the same time anyway. And the Bathing Beauties. We'll put on the flowers. Up, okay. There we go. And then we will put some eyelets in, and I think I will use the 1/8 inch, the smaller eyelets for this. There we go. Oops. There we go. And go. Then I have to change this. There we go. And I'll get some small eyelets out. Oh dear, this might have been too ambitious for my first video, just saying. There. And a black one for Fred. those away. Then I need get that out of my way. Where am I at 9:34? It's not looking good, girls. Fold that up. Fold that up. Fold that up. Bone folder. And then we will take a jump ring and some chain. Put that on there. Close up my jump ring. And put another jump ring. In there. And attach the chain. And close up the jump ring. Another jump ring. My chain, which I think I did like 6 lengths of chain. I don't know if that's the right length or not, but it is what it is. And then we'll put thread. Another jump ring. On there. Sakes. And that came off of there, so that's nice. Okay, well, I guess my jump ring wasn't closed all the way. 9:37. It's not looking good, girls. I don't think I'm going to make it. It's going to be a fail. Oh dear, how stressful is this? Probably should have used a bigger jump ring for this one. Okay. And this one is going to be gold, I guess. One more jump ring. 9:39. Oh dear, I'm not gonna make it. And that guy. And this. If I weren't so clumsy, it wouldn't be bad, but that's what happens. Okay, this jump ring probably isn't big enough, but it's on there. I'm just going to glue this shut with a glue stick because art glitter glue isn't working for me today. And the little charm goes into the hole. Normally I would not use glue stick for this, but I'm in a bind. And that one goes in there. And that one goes in there, Fred. So as you can see, I have 1 minute left. I normally would have inked and done all kinds of fancy things, maybe added some more labels and things to collage on the front, but I'm just glad I finished the 3 projects under 30 minutes. It was close, and I didn't think I was going to do it, but hey-ho, here we are, 9:41, 30 minutes. I hope you like them, and as I said, I will try to link Maggie's channel because I basically copied her from her channel, from one of her videos that I was watching. So there's that. As I said, I would normally not use glue stick to close these up, but I think they turned out pretty cute, and I probably would have inked around them and done some other things, but in 30 minutes, you take what you get. Thanks for watching, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. Have a good day. Bye.